Thank you so much for tuning in to Beyond Paranormal with Ben and Cheryl. I'm Cheryl.
And this is Ben.
We are so thrilled that you're here with us tonight. We have some great guests. If anybody's seen my posts today, we, at 8 o'clock, in just a couple minutes, will be talking to actor Dominick Skippy Calvitto, known for his role in the epic cult classic The Toxic Avenger. I know that was a really cool show when I was a kid. It spun off into a cartoon series, which I saw. We're going to be talking to him about that, as well as some of his upcoming stuff. I know he's done a little paranormal investigating, so we'll probably touch on that. At 9 o'clock, we're going to be talking with the leader of the Get Wet team, also the weatherman meteorologist for Good Morning Gloucester and host of Wicked Weather on the wonderful DTM Wicked Radio Network. Peter Lavasco will be with us. He's also done some paranormal investigating with us recently. Pretty cool guy, so I hope that you can all tune in, stay with us throughout the show. If you want to call in, our number is 818-431-8214, or you can log in at blogtalkradio.com/DTM-radio/2014/beyond-paranormal-with-Cheryl-and-Benjamin-Ledoux. I really think we need a shorter title because it'd just be so much easier to tell everybody that, because it's a lot of backslashes and dashes, and I usually mess that up. So anyways, make sure you call in any questions. You want to talk to our guests, listen to the show, 818-431-8214. Sorry if I'm yelling. I have a head cold, and my ears, I can't hear anything tonight. So everybody talk loudly. And I'm told that Dominick is with us now. Hello, how are you, darling?
How you doing, Cheryl? How's everything going? Glad to be on the show. Thank you for the invite. I'm hoping everybody is on the show listening.
Happy to have you. Sorry if I'm yelling. I have a head cold, and like everything's bouncing off my eardrum, so I can't tell if I'm talking too loud.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, it's probably the weather.
Make sure you mute your computer because I can hear the echo.
Yeah, I just lowered it, actually.
It will echo. We got a 5-second delay. So if I say hi, in about 5 seconds, I'll hear myself go hi.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you totally have a Jersey accent.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of friends down in Jersey. Ben works on a ship out of Jersey. He works out of, the Newark area.
Oh, okay.
So we're pretty familiar with the area. What section of Newark or New Jersey are you from, top or the upstate?
North Jersey.
Northern Jersey.
Yeah. I'm not far from Newark. Maybe 20 minutes from Newark, not even. So.
My daughter, even though she's been raised in Massachusetts her entire life, she spent the first 6 months in Florida, so she tells everybody she's from Florida.
Awesome.
She has no accent.
So, yeah, I lived in Florida, actually, and they thought my accent was funny when I lived there. They were like, all them country folk, and they actually looked at me like, "You from New York?" I'm like, "No, from New Jersey, guy."
It's hard because you have such a heavy accent that when you say New York and Newark, they kind of sound the same.
Awesome. That's nice, though. That's a cool
awesome is a northern word, so they don't get that in Florida either. Awesome and wicked.
Yeah, wicked's pretty cool.
Wicked.
So.
It's wicked cool.
Wicked's cool. It's definitely right.
Yes.
Definitely right. So what's going on? I heard. I was going to go on to paranormal, and I decided against it because I actually seen. I think it's. I know it was in Massachusetts, and I was going to go with Jason Stanton and Gary. I think his name is Basia.
Yep, I know Gary.
Yeah, and I was watching Destination Channel, and where they were going to go well, they went, but where they went to ended up on the Destination Channel.
Mm-hmm.
The Pierce House, the mansion.
Yep.
In
Pierce
Gardner.
Mansion. Yeah, that's not far from us.
Yes, and I decided against it because I was watching it, and I know that they everything in on television is obviously exaggerated, but it's just I watched it and I was like, nope.
Oh, the mansion in Gardner is totally legit. It's, you know, I haven't been there. Surprisingly, we've been invited there a few times. A couple of our good friends help with the caretaking there, and
wow.
The stuff that goes on there is like completely legit. Like they've had some really creepy stuff go on, and our friend Joni, she's written a book, Bones in the Basement, about that piece of property. And if you want to know more about that place, you can read that book and get some of the deal on that, because that place is pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I wasn't about to go get involved in that.
Some of the stories I've heard have been, you know, definitely creepy.
Yeah,
now,
I can't be doing that.
Have you done any investigating yourself?
No, I want. Well, this is how it started. I was on the DTM with Jason and Jody Smith, and they actually were talking to me about it, and you know, about my movie and all that stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'd like to get involved in it, because you know, I am a big science lover, and with science it comes paranormal activity, obviously. So I was involved in it, and not involved, but I mean, I was like, I love science. So the deal is, I was like, okay, you know what, maybe I will do it. And then I was like, Jason, you know what, I'll do it. And then I was really pumped up to do it. I was going crazy. I was like, you know, yeah, man, this is so great. Oh, but then, like, that little hint of watching it on television was like, okay, that's enough. I can't be doing it. And it was funny because me and Gary were talking online on Facebook, and he was like, yo, put on Destination Channel, it's on. So I was watching. I thought it was just a regular, you know, I didn't know they were going to have the Pierce mansion on.
Yeah.
And I ended up watching it. He's like, that place look familiar? I was like, because he sent me a link to the place. And I was like, oh, boy. I was like, yeah, you know what? I've seen that place before, Gar. He's like, that's where we're going to go. He goes, they know we're coming. I was like, well,
nice.
I ain't coming. I said, no, that's all right. I said, plus, anyway, which was a good choice, because of the fact that that weekend I ended up going to a film festival for my movie. Well, not my movie, but they had an award ceremony for Lloyd Kaufman and a bunch of other actors that are in my group that I added you to. And
yep.
I ended up going to that, and I met a lot of big wigs, and you know, it was like really awesome. It was great. I couldn't even, like, I was thinking about it when I was there. I was like, you know, if I went to this paranormal investigation, I would not have been here to meet all these big shots in the movies. You know, I was hanging out with Lloyd Kaufman. The guy's a genius. And, you know, I mean, he made my movie. He got me to where I am today. And I had an interview, which is in my group also, that I'll share right now because I'm looking at it, that he got me July 2nd. I did an interview with him at his office in Queens, New York, in Astoria. And, yeah, it was unbelievable. And he was like, you know what, because it's the 30 years of when they filmed it. You know, so it gets to the point that everybody's trying to get together. I'm going to Epicon next month. I'll be in Dayton, Ohio, in Epicon at the convention with a lot of the actors. With Mark Torgel, was Melvin in the movie, and let's see, I think his name is Robert Pritchard was actually Slug in the back of the car, and he's going. So, I mean, it's going to be extravagant. There's going to be so many people. It's going to be outrageous. We just did the 30-year
we'll talk about
anniversary.
that a little bit more. But on the paranormal thing, don't let TV shows sway you to whether or not you want to do it. Ben and I, we're big into like the science aspect of it and everything. Our house is very active, and you know, we've been to places that yes are completely creepy, but they're not all like exorcist type. Don't let it freak you out.
It's 95% boredom.
It really is.
It's kind of like, you know exactly how it feels, because
when you're sitting on set waiting and
waiting. It's the same thing as waiting on set and having to do a scene 50,000 times in a row to get it right.
Yeah.
That's about the same feeling. You're sitting there and you're just waiting for it to happen, and sometimes nothing happens at all, and you just sit there and
talk to yourself, and you know, you're recording your own voice,
and then once in a while you may catch something, but you won't catch it to your home and going back over the next 8 hours that you spend of your life or more just going over footage.
But it is really cool when you can get, you know, entities to make noises or move things or, you know, respond to you. It's exciting. It's an adrenaline rush, and like I said, there's that, you know, 1% chance that you're going to get some, you know, severe activity that would probably frighten most people. It just doesn't happen like that.
I love the fact that you get the science approach. That's cool too, because I look at it from the science. I'm big in science, but I'm also very mechanical. So I don't believe in ghosts. I believe in gremlins. And
how's everything gremlins? And
if it goes bump in the night, it's a gremlin. And so I always call them gremlins. They're not ghosts. And so I mean, and plus the movie, and it's all great. I love the movie Gremlins and all that.
He just doesn't like calling ghosts.
But I love the science of it, and it's fun, and
it's cool making new tools and trying to make things work and
trying to work with people, and a lot of it's mostly education, which is
helping people.
Really weird, because most of the time you're over there explaining, or at least we are
helping the clients learn about it.
Is teaching people how to understand what you're dealing with, and then all of a sudden, I mean, most things that happen, there's not a lot of demonic activity. I would say, a lot of it.
Rare.
A lot of it is. It would be
misunderstood.
It'd be like it's kind of like the if you give the impression of somebody's talking to a brick wall and looking for a response, and how aggravated you would get if somebody was sitting there trying to talk to you for hours on end and getting no answer at all, no response, no nothing.
Yeah, believe me, I've had that happen with real people, so I know exactly.
I mean, it's the same idea. That's where you get a lot of those strange activities that are so. Oh, they must be demonic. No, they're just trying to be heard.
Grumpy entities that can't get a response. They're just pissed off that they can't communicate.
Yeah.
And I hear that I've watched a lot of paranormal on television because it's, like I said, it's interesting to me. And a lot of the investigators say that a lot of the souls that are stuck, that like there was one that was I was watching, I was really enjoying also, was what's it called? I think it was Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures. One of them too. I think it was Ghost Adventures. And they were saying they were in a prison, and a lot of them were afraid. Well, they were saying a lot of them the souls stayed behind when they died or got killed or whatever the case may be, that they were afraid to go to hell. So they were actually stuck, and they stayed behind. You know, I don't know how true it is, because I don't know too much about it. But I mean, that's kind of scary if you think about it.
The fear to move on, to know what's on the other side.
Yes, exactly, and that's what they were saying.
Most of them don't understand that they've died. There's entities that walk around like they're still living. They don't get it.
Heck, I'm planning on haunting everybody when I go.
I have a list too.
Oh, me too, dude.
I don't think I'm going to be the, I'm not going to
be, not in a bad way.
I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But we totally get it.
I got a big list.
Yeah, exactly.
But
think of all the people you could torment.
But
hey, I'm still here.
Yeah,
exactly.
But the paranormal community is a lot like your movie film community. I mean, we've been to the Paracons, we've been to a lot of events, and I've been starstruck by, going to some of these events and going, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just met that person.
So I don't get that.
No, but I don't get giddy stupid. but it's just like, wow, this was a great opportunity and like a talented person. But the paranormal community, I mean, there's good sides to it.
I look at it in this way. I don't look at it as I don't ever get star-struck. I've met stars. I've met a lot of famous people, actually, believe it or not, in my career. I just talk to them like regular people because I think I'm pretty sure you're just a regular person, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm pretty sure. So I mean, that's the way I look at it, and what you do is your job. And
no, I just meant great opportunity to meet.
And I understand
the
talent's great. I know some people get all, oh my God.
I've never.
It's so and so from this. I mean, it's like, whoa. I don't get that.
No, I mean, I've been 5 feet from Mark Wahlberg. I didn't go jumping into his arms or anything. It was like, hey, oh my God. Hey, great opportunity. Nice to meet you. Yeah. By the way, will you come be on my show? No? Okay.
Exactly.
But you know,
it's kind of like interesting. It's just I don't know. I prefer to watch it on television to where I can go to sleep at night and not have to worry. That's another problem.
My brother watches those shows and then he can't sleep at night.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Who wants that?
The shows make it out to be much more than it is.
Well, they're showing you 48, 50, however. We'll just say a week worth of time investigating in an hour segment. You don't get all that in one night. You don't.
No, and they clip things together.
You could probably get it all in one night, but chances are you're looking at a week's worth of work plus another 2 weeks worth of review just to put an episode together. That's why they only do these seasons. They go out to these places. They're only working 5 to 6 months. The rest of the time and then they put a whole year's worth of show on. Just like working on a movie. It doesn't take you a week to put a whole movie together. You're doing it for months.
It depends what type of movie you're making, but it may even take longer than that. But
exactly.
What I'm saying is, I get your point. The editing is magic. You can put things together that you never thought you'd be able to put together. Like in my scene, I got my head
you had a pretty graphic scene. I had to actually remember back because I sat there going, I'm like, talking to the conventional one. I remember all the other ones. I was going back to it, and I was like, oh, I remember this one. And then I actually had to sit there because when you were first brought up to us for having a guest, and I'm like, I know the name, and I'm sitting here looking at it, and I looked it up, and I'm like, I know exactly who you are. And yeah, you had a pretty graphic scene.
Oh yeah, and it was really fun to film. But the thing was, it was pretty difficult to do because even though it was a small part. Scene rather in the movie, it wasn't like, oh, okay, you're just going to lay there with all this makeup on you and special effects and everything. It took a lot of doing. It took all night, and it wasn't as easy as people would think looking at it. In the movies.
That's why they call it the magic. What is it? The magic of Hollywood or whatever you want to call it. But yeah exactly. It is a lot of work. That's.
It was crazy.
It's a job.
I'm going to be in another movie too.
It's just a job. It's a job that some people don't understand that it is. It's actually. That's a lot of work to have to do things and be perfect, and then to have to do everything in
the same way every time.
The same way every time to get that perfect take.
And I do get it. I went with my sister, and we were extras on the set of Ted, which filmed out in Boston.
Awesome.
We did the scene with Nora Jones at the half shell. That one, 2-minute segment of the movie took 8 hours worth of footage of retakes and retakes and retakes and retakes. Those actors had to be exhausted.
And you're not.
I was laughing because I was.
Before they edit.
Yeah,
all those retakes, and that's before they even edit.
It was interesting to watch it when it actually played in the movie, and it was like, that's it? But so how did you get into acting? Because, you were pretty young when this movie filmed.
Well, my brother, when I was a kid, my brother called up an agency in Nutley, New Jersey, and a modeling agency, and threw my name at him, and I went for an audition. You're a young kid, you don't think nothing of it, whatever. So nothing really happened. Then they called me finally, and they said, we might have a little scene for you. We want you to go to Trauma.
Yep.
In New York City, and meet the guys, and maybe they might have something for you. I was like, wow, okay. So I ended up going, and I found out that I was going to be in a movie because I most resembled the stuntman that flipped over the car when they first hit me, and we looked like twins, same size. He was just like a spitting image, and after that, I was like amazed. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I was actually going to be in a movie. I met the actors that I was going to work with, and I was totally flabbergasted. And as viral as the movie went, to this day, 30 years later, I mean, I'm on the radio now. This is my third radio call, and it's totally amazing. And, I'm going to be doing another movie, actually, Toxic Tutu, which is the one you shared, Cheryl, before.
Yes.
And I'm going to be in that movie with Mark Togel and what's his name? Joe Nardelli's the filmmaker. It's his movie, and they wanted me to be in it. So I was like, okay, definitely, I'll do it, no problem. And
right, Toxic Avenger. That was like 1984.
Yes.
It didn't really go big the first year. It was really like the next year that it really went
classic.
Like.
Yeah, it was a cult movie. And it
actually
ended up getting...
And then it just took.
Yeah. It actually ended up going nuts because after say 2-3 years, it was knocking it off the shelf. The people couldn't get it fast enough. And it was, VHS back then was big. And a lot of people were, people I was growing up with were astonished. They were like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me, man? You got to be kidding me! You're in a movie."
Were you
I
like
couldn't
the
believe
superstar of your friends?
Excuse me?
Were you like the superstar of all your friends?
Yeah. That's all. I still hear it. Skippy, what's up? Oh my God, it's Skippy. Like my friends, I mean, it's crazy. Skippy, Toxic Avenger, and this guy was in the Toxic Avenger. And it's like, we just did the 30th, in August, we did the 30th reunion up in Boonton, New Jersey at the Darris Theater. And that's actually videos of me on stage are actually in my group. And you can look at them also when you get a chance and share them if you want. There's part 1 and 2, and it was amazing. They put me on stage to introduce the movie. I was doing a Q&A with all the fans. I signed autographs afterwards, and it was amazing. I made a lot of good friends, and Trauma it's where I got my start, and now I'm making another movie. It's amazing. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the Toxic Avenger, I mean, I really remember as a kid, and I remember my parents telling me, don't watch that. But, I mean, let me see, I was probably like 5 when it came out. So,
wow.
But I mean, it was like an American superhero type film. I mean, it had the sequels, the 2, 3, and then Citizen Toxie. And then, did the 5th one come out? There was supposed to be Toxic Twins. I
don't think so. I think they're working on it.
Or
they're supposed to work on it, something like that. I can't remember. I'm not too sure about Toxic Avenger 5. When I was at actually my recent showing of it, at the thing was somebody was talking about it, about if Lloyd was going to make Toxic Avenger 5, and they were like, yeah, they might be making it. But it's not set in stone as far as I know. So I can't really say because I don't know. So it's kind of like up in the air still, I think. I think they're doing some casting or whatever. They're working on it. I don't know. I wasn't asked because I died in the first one. It would be cool if I was able to come back to life at 30 years later and be
play a
5.
different character even.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great. I mean, with them movies, you can do anything. Anything's possible when you make movies.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at
now,
the
were
Terminator.
you ever a fan of the Toxic Crusader cartoons?
You know what? I probably was when I was a kid. I might not. I might have. I can't remember. I mean, all I remember is my movie, but that's where the movie really originated from.
Right.
And it's pretty awesome. And what happened was it's really a cool story. In Boonton, New Jersey, there was a lot of toxic waste under the ground, and it's the whole town of Boonton is sinking. And what is I think every year or something, they go around and they dig out and they put more dirt, or they do some kind of construction to try to relieve the pressure of all the toxic waste that's underneath the ground. And it was really like a story that I found that they were actually talking about when I was there at the 30th anniversary. And I thought it was just years on end, thinking it was just a movie, but that's where actually it originated from. That's why they filmed it in Boonton. I filmed my part in Jersey City, and it was really cool because when you learn the history of what you're in after 30 years, it really makes it worthwhile, and it makes it like, wow, you're really, instead of just saying, okay, I was in a movie, that's what I thought when I was growing up. So what? I never really told anybody because it was just like, it's only a movie. But then after you start seeing and meeting people when you grow up and getting involved in conventions and doing this and doing that, getting invited to interviews and all this other stuff, it really brings everything out of the woodwork. It's amazing. It's just totally amazing. I met so many people. I mean, in my group, I must have added about another 40 or 50 people that I met at the thing the other night, and it was just totally amazing. All these people were like friending me. Boom, 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 boom. It's when I was on stage actually at the Darris, these people were. My phone was going ballistic. It was all friend requests. Bing, 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 bing. That's all I heard. I was like, I had to shut my phone off, but I couldn't do it because I was on stage. I didn't want to be rude, and it was crazy. My pages were blowing up. Skippy from the Toxic Avenger, I have, and fans of Skippy from the Toxic Avenger. That's the group, and Team Skippy. I actually have 2 pages in a group. I have, and yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it. I can't believe where I am right now, with people calling me, telling me they want me to do this, do that. Can you be on my show? Can you call? It's totally like I'm famous. I guess. You got to be humble because I don't feel it. I mean, I kind of feel it now. It's kind of really cool, but it's kind of like also 30 years later, it's strange because it should have happened when I first made it. But I guess, I guess you have to wait. I guess, I'm not a big actor, so it is kind of a really...
But the classics, it seems like, and if you watch, really, everybody goes back in time. All these classics from our childhood have come back. I mean, if you watch, my kids love watching, like, Revenge of the Nerds and the Gremlins and all these movies that we liked as a kid. They're bigger now than they were then. Awesome.
You're right. You're definitely right. A lot of people like that in the movies now, in that type of circuit, and it's crazy because what happens is once, like, I just made that one. Well, I didn't just make it, but 30 years later, I made the movie Toxic Avenger 30 years ago, and when you're, like I said, when you're a kid, you don't see where it can bring you because you're a young kid. You're just like, okay, that's it, it's over with. I went to the movies in Montclair, New Jersey, at the Bellevue to see the premiere of my movie, and I was all gung-ho. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I'm going to see my head get squashed. They cut that part out. And,
no.
Oh, yeah. At the film festival, I actually was talking to Lloyd Kaufman about that. I said, Lloyd, I said, in the interview that I had with you, I said, we didn't really get to talk about it that much, but I said, off camera, I said, why did they do that? He said, well, they had to get a PG rating, actually, and they couldn't get a PG rating with that type of scene. so they had to cut it out. I was like, oh my God. I said, that's the hardest part I worked in, my man. He's like, I know, it was there. He goes, but
it was hard work to get my skull crushed in by
thugs. Oh, you have no idea how hard it was. I couldn't move. I could not move. And I was stuck on the ground in the summer with all that makeup and all them and the skull cap and the cow brains next to me and all the blood on my face and my mouth. Oh, it was raunchy. And I still remember the smell of being there, with all the makeup. It was just like, ugh.
They didn't use fake brains? They used cow brains?
They used cow brains.
Oh, my gosh.
How could you make it any more realistic?
They had to. I mean, that's how trauma is. They don't cut no corners, which is awesome. And they used, actually, instead of using, like, something simple, like, a watermelon, they used a actual a head-shaped ceramic ball on the dummy they laid there, and because for the fact that it made the cracking sound when they ran it over, they needed that sound to make it realistic, and oh my God, it was intense, and you know what,
I'm gonna have to go rewatch it again now, just so I can listen.
Yeah,
to
definitely, Cheryl. Definitely, you should. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I still watch it, and when it's funny because when I first got the copy when I was a kid, I kept watching it, and I wore the tape out. I had to go and get another tape, and my mother was like, "DJ, what are you doing? You got to turn it off already." How many times you gonna watch yourself get hit by a car? But it was, but I was in a total amazement. I mean, I still am. When I watch it, I laugh. If I'm on Facebook, which I am now, and I see my part, and my little skit there, I laugh because it's funny because everybody knows about it. Even people I don't even know that I never met that are friending me. They're like, "Wow, I seen your scene. Oh my God, this and that." It's totally amazing, and I look forward to being in this other Toxic Tutu with Mark, and it's amazing that they asked me. Joe Nardelli is the man, and you know what? Who cares how long it took? 30 years later, so what?
Well, I know you can't talk really that much about the movie, but I hope that very well that you are not going to be crushed by another car.
Or gang.
No, I can't really talk about the scene because things may change, and I'm not really allowed to do that as far as I know.
Oh,
so
I know.
I can't really,
I hope you're not getting crushed by another
unfortunately, car. But I can't really say, oh yeah, this, because I don't have permission. So, but yeah, it's going to be a really cool movie in my scene, and because I wasn't really told much about it, so I couldn't really comment on it actually. But
is there anything you can tell us about like the plot of what the movie is or when it will be coming out?
I really can't because they're still filming it and they're still making changes in this, tweaking this and tweaking that. So I don't know too much about the Toxic Tutu yet. I mean, if you want to look it up on YouTube, you might get a little bit of an idea.
Okay.
And I can't really, like the part, the one I put up is like, that's about all I know. Just from seeing that part that I found before when I was just browsing over YouTube. So I'm not too keen on the aspects of the, the movie yet, so I can't really make a comment on it until it's all done with and I'm done filming and then it's out and then so.
Oh, I understand. Hopefully, maybe we'll have you back on after we have the premiere out. I can't wait to I look forward to actually seeing it. It'll be great.
Oh, I can't wait to be in front of the camera again. It's amazing that I have this opportunity, and I mean, with all you people helping me out here, with all these shows, I'm astonished. Every day, I did one last night, and with Will. And
yep, our good friend Will Scoville.
Yeah, he's really cool. It's going to be actually, he's had to edit everything, so it's going to be on Facebook tomorrow at some point.
Paranormal Circus, Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. Okay, so that you can listen to because I talked to him about the same thing about the movies, and it's really really amazing. I'm totally like flabbergasted. Who knew? Like last year, I didn't know.
Will's a great guy.
Oh yeah, he was a lot of fun. He really was.
Oh, he's super fun.
Yeah, he was
we've
really
had him
cool.
actually co-host with us before Ben started with me. One of my old teammates aired with us, and on occasion, like one of us couldn't do it or anything, and he was so gracious. He'd call in, and he just made it so fun for us. Of course, make fun of us girls and everything, but yeah, he's a big ham.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, and he's funny. He has a good sense of humor. And he was like, yeah, man, dude, I'll call you back, this and that. I might be able to help you out with this and that. I'm like, all right, dude, sure. It's you people. It's not just about the paranormal, which is really cool. It's an opportunity for somebody to listen. Who knows how many fans you people have, like, that are listening on a daily basis when you have a show on? You got to have thousands, right?
Well, right now, I know, probably a half hour ago, we had, well over 7,000 people.
Ooh.
But that's not even including, the archives. Tomorrow, next week, everybody goes in, listens to the archives.
Yeah. Yep.
DTM gets well over 2 million hits a month on the network.
Oh.
And we have some pretty great shows. We have some amazing
But no pressure.
hosts. Yeah, no pressure. Some amazing hosts, some amazing shows. DTM is the best network to be with right now. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased. I'm saying it because they're just some awesome people.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. So this is good. This is good for me.
Very good. We're iTunes, iHeart,
iHeart. He said it's going to be on iHeart Radio too. So that's really cool.
Tons of different Bean, Pods, XMs, million different abbreviations, and I can never remember the list. There's 20 different things we're on.
Wow.
And Denny and Tiff will probably yell at me saying, "You said the wrong one." Don't yell at me, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a list in front of me.
Yeah, Denny's really cool too because he hit me up last night actually about you guys, and he actually was telling me about another one he wants me to do. So I'm like, oh, my God, man. I said, yeah. I said, listen, I'm free at night because I'm home, and, I don't mind doing it. I said, call me. I said, if you want me to, do any other shows, I said, I'm free. Just call me.
Absolutely.
I said, if you do any shows in New Jersey, I'll come even to the studio. And my manager and I, and we can do that, and sit down with you guys for the night. So, I know it's you're in what? You're in Louisiana, I think?
No, we're in Massachusetts, but
I'm Massachusetts. I don't know why I'm thinking
but
Louisiana.
when Ben's working, he's down in Newark.
Oh, okay.
So, some night when we're on air, when your show comes around, you guys can get together for dinner or something and, do a show live from down in New Jersey.
See, that's really cool. I would like to do that type of radio show like that to where I'm there. And I can be on the radio with you guys all, I guess for the 2-3 hours or whatever, and then people can call in and ask questions. That is where the exposure bounces off of. And
I agree. Interacting with person to person. We've had a few interviews where we've been fortunate enough to be from person to person, and you get the energy combined in the room with going at each other and actually conversing and seeing the person you're talking to. It always is the best shows ever.
Yeah, but then I can't wear my pajamas.
Well, I'll come in sweats, so
Hey, it's all good.
It's all good. It's the movies. You can wear anything.
Well, they always show the
people in the movies walk around naked anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah, I will have to ask. Oh my God, that's so funny that you said the newscaster is never wearing pants behind the desk. We'll have to ask Peter at 9 o'clock, the weatherman, if he wears what he wears.
I have my sweats on right now and a T-shirt. I'm chilling. So, Skippy's just chilling like Gilligan. You know what I'm saying? Have the music channel on, and I'm just,
Saying about doing webcasts, and eventually we'll probably start doing Skype casts and everything, so everybody can see us talking, but, you know, that involves a great deal of doing my hair and makeup and dressing and, you know, not being relaxing,
definitely.
chilling under my quilt on my bed, and, you know.
You better pray for the newscaster view because I don't do all that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, whenever, like, you would like to get together, I mean, that's definitely on, you know, I can give you my information off air, obviously. But I would like to plug a couple of my, I think I did plug some of my pages. Yeah, I did. So, yeah, well, whenever, I can give you my information offline.
Yeah, feel free.
And then,
shout them out.
Well, it's the one page is Skippy from the Toxic Avenger. I'd like everybody to take a look at and click like. And I also have Team Skippy, which is another page I have. And my group, it's a public group, so people are welcome to join. To ask to join, I can add everybody. Fans of Skippy from the Toxic Avenger, they can go ahead and do that. Hit me up on my personal page is Dominick Skippy Calvitto. And, you know, if they would like to join my, you know, my community with my friends about my movie, they're definitely welcome. You know, the more people, you never know who's listening. I mean, the way I look at it is, any wall I can bounce off of with my movie experiences, the better. So it's kind of like, it will be really cool. I mean, this is
now. Have you learned how to get rid of your accent yet?
Only when I'm sleeping, because I don't really talk when I'm sleeping. But no, I mean, you know, I can talk like in different like voices if I wanted to, but you know, it's hard to do when you're having a cigarette.
Accents, New York accents are the hardest to get rid of.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's just you know, it's just born like this, I guess. And I grew up in Belleville, New Jersey.
I grew up talking like this forever.
And I'm Italian, so that's, you know, that's another thing. It's just you know, I have that a little Italian break in my voice, which is really cool. And, you know, my father's parents were from Italy, so it's kind of, and my mother's father, so it's kind of cool because I have that little bit of a, you know, edge on me, which I love. You know, I love being Italian. And you know, the only thing is, like, it's hard to talk when you're out of state to people because they look at you, like I said, they look at you like, where are you from? You know, it's pretty cool though because people respect you, I guess, more when they know you're from out of state. I don't know why, but I think it's really, really cool.
I'm just curious though, when you drive around Jersey, and I must say it's because this is like, I'm about to piss somebody off with this one.
Pet peeve.
How, do you make sure your horn works before you start driving, or is it just something you just hope goes? Because I swear, everybody in Jersey drives with their horn.
Well, I try. You know what? I try not to even be bothered with people, and I try to take side streets. To tell you the truth.
Do you ever notice that though?
People drive like they have like
cars parked
you know
in front of you that can't move, yet the horn will go for an
or at a red light. You know, like, what are you doing? What are you beeping at me? It's still red, man. Come on, wake up.
Really, what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
and
really.
And then the other love is, I cannot get directions from somebody from New Jersey. I can now for the longest time. You got to take the jug handle. Like, what? What the heck is a jug handle? It took me forever to figure it out. But now I've been there. I've probably been working for over 6-7 years now.
6 years, yeah.
6 years in Jersey, so I picked it up now. But some of the things, the terms that you guys use out there, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, your accent isn't nearly as heavy as we've talked to Steve DeShavi before from the Dead Files, and we actually met him at Parahistorycon back in May. And he's Italian and from Long Island, and so he's got the Long Island, New Jersey thing going. He's got a heavy accent. I had to, like, listen really carefully quite a few times.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, I grew up with friends from Long Island, so it was kind of like...
Oh, yeah, no, I don't understand his friends when they call at all.
Oh, my God, that's awesome.
You happy they're not the ones who all the...
His buddies from Long Island, when they call, even a couple from Rhode Island, their accents are so heavy, and thick that it's
yeah,
like
I
all
have a couple of friends
hey,
that I speak to
how
on the
are
daily,
you?
once in a while from Brooklyn, and it's the same thing. It's strange because the way you're looking at my accent, I look at their accent the same way because they have a stronger accent, deeper into New York, and you know it's funny because it ranges from Massachusetts or from South Carolina or Florida to New Jersey to New York, and it kind of originated in New York, and it escalated over to New Jersey, and it's crazy because everybody is like, you know, I can talk in different voices because I always do just to play around and mess with people, but it's funny because everybody says that. It's everybody says that about me. You have an Italian accent. Wow, man. You know, I mean, even people that don't know me, I'll go somewhere far, and they'll be like, "Whoa, where are you from?" Or, "Oh my God, I never heard this kind of voice, man." You know, because they live in the boondocks. But it's hysterical. It's so funny. It's great. I love it. I love messing around with people with my voice. I usually sometimes use a different voice, and they're looking at me, and you know, it's great. I love it. You can't beat it.
Ben has worked with so many different people from different parts of the country and around the world that frequently he'll call me, and he won't sound the same. I'm like, I'm sorry, who am I talking to?
Yeah, exactly.
He picks up their accent, and we lived in Pensacola for a while, right on the Panhandle, and people from Louisiana and the Panhandle. I mean, we came home back to Massachusetts talking like Southerners, and people were like, "What? You were born and raised in Massachusetts? Like, where have you been?"
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, and what's really cool is about it. When I was filming my movie, I was like, you know, I was 12, and I had like a really high voice because I was young. And that's why in my scene, my voice is like, hello, you know, it's like, it was funny. And then now, all of a sudden, I got a nice deep voice, which is awesome. You know, it's funny, but
yeah, it's cool
I was
when
like,
you grow
hello,
up.
thank you, okay, sis. You know, I was like, oh, God. And I still listen to it. I'm like, oh, my God, my voice. It's great, though. It's awesome because, you know, hey, I'm a Italian, 100% Napoli Don. And from Jersey, so, you know, born in Newark, New Jersey. And it's cool because everybody has all different accents, even other Italians that I know, obviously. Deeper, like, you know, they're really like, oh, my God, yeah, you know. It's great, though. But,
yeah,
you know.
Jersey and New York are really versatile on that. You could walk 2 blocks and you're going to be in an entirely different zone.
Oh,
great.
Yeah.
It's weird and great at the same time. You can understand everything that's being said from, you know, Newark, but then you move over to like Elizabeth, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Then you go a little further over, and it's like, what the heck just happened? I only walked 10 feet.
Yeah,
now all of a sudden everybody talks different.
Yeah.
So many cultures all combined into one small area, and I think that's what is. It's just fun to walk. Walking around, you can literally walk from a culture to another culture within blocks.
Yes, it's like being in Disney World. It's really awesome.
So next month, let's talk about next month, because next month's a really cool month, and me and Ben are actually going to try to get out there.
Yeah, you should. It's in
you're going to be in Dayton, Ohio at the Epicon.
Yes.
Let everybody know the dates and times and what's going on.
It's going to be the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th of October. And I'm going to be leaving to head out there on the 24th on a Friday. And from there, you know, we'll be in Epicon, and we'll be doing the convention for the whole week, signing autographs, taking pictures with people, and doing whatever. I'm going to do an interview with Joe Nardelli. I believe it's going to be taped and videotaped and available, I guess, after he edits it and all that stuff. And, yeah, so it's going to be big. I'm pretty excited about it. It's actually all I'm thinking about lately. I just want to get out there because it's going to be like my first big convention. And
now, are you going to be at a booth with Joe and Mark Togel?
I believe so.
Very cool.
I believe so. Yeah, and there's going to be millions of people there. Definitely.
Yeah, I took a look at the list of people that are going to be there, and it's insane.
Oh, I'm going to be like in such a a state of shock. I can't even begin to tell you how once you're there, it's really gonna kick in once you're there.
Well, it's not just a paranormal con. It's like a fantasy, sci-fi, adventure, action.
It's like a little bit of something for everything.
Yeah, horror, thriller, voice actors, puppeteers, cosplay.
I mean, we're gonna have Trekkies. We're gonna have.
I'm super stoked. The movie Candyman. Tony Todd. That movie creeped me out in the worst way.
Wait a minute. I think I heard about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. He played the Candyman. Back, it was late 80s. But that was like one of the scariest movies ever when I was a little kid.
Really?
Where? Yeah, I did hear. Okay, yeah. And I mean, there's people that have played on Free Willy, Lori Petty from in Point Break, League of Their Own. In the Army now, Tank Girl, she's going to be there. Nice.
That's a classic.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, and who was one of the other guys? I got to look it up. Michael Berryman. He was known. He was in the original Hills Have Eyes. And he was in some of the Star Trek movies. He's got a really creepy look to him. But
I don't know if I know him. I don't know if I ever heard of his name.
Devil's Rejects.
I don't know.
Yeah,
are they they're like horror movies or?
Yeah, the Devil's Rejects was kind of like a slasher horror.
Okay.
Kind of like Killing Spree. I like that one. I remember that one.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
Google.
Wow, crazy. I'm trying to think of these movies.
I'm just scrolling down and I'm like the amount of insanely cool people are going to be there.
That's awesome.
And then you're going to be there too.
Yes, Skippy from the Toxic Avenger will be there, and I'm psyched. I can't wait. I'm totally. It's like I can't get here any quicker. I mean, this month is dragging. And,
you know what I think is funny? It's almost like you sound nervous about going to an event, and you're like one of the attractions for the event.
People are going there to see you.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about it is, it's like I said, it's my first one, so I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to be just walking around in shock. I'm going to be like, oh my God, look who it is. Oh my God, look, and you know, I'm going to see so many famous people that I'm not even going to remember why I was there. You know, that's what's really cool. That's what it's about.
And these things are so insane. And you're going to go there, and people are going to be like, oh, my gosh, it's a pleasure to meet you. I want your autograph. I want your photo.
Yeah,
so
I want your number. You know, as a single guy here, you know. So so who knows, you know. Hey, maybe I'll move to Ohio.
Another cool person that's going to be there. You'll have to check this guy out. Do you know who Sean Whalen is?
John Whalen. The name rings a bell. I'm not really sure of who he is, though.
Well, we've had him on our show. He's been in Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs, Batman Returns, Men in Black.
People Under the Stairs was an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Actually.
Played him on some of the
wasn't that in the
Halloween
80s? Did that come out in the 80s, that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember that now.
80s. He's also been in Twister.
Halloween 2, Hatchet, all kinds of. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Wow.
But we've had him on, and he's an awesome guy.
Awesome, totally awesome guy. Like, you just have to go up to him, meet him. Like, you'll love him.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely want to do that because I don't think I'm going to be able to sign autographs because I'm going to be getting other autographs.
Yeah.
They're going to have to chain me to the table or something. Oh my God, this is so wild though. I can't even. Every time I talk about it, I get the chills because I just can't wait. I can't wait to get there. It's going to be amazing. I just have one question. When would I be able to share this broadcast that we're on? Will you be editing everything or?
No, you're
right
live.
now. You're live.
Oh, I mean, I can get the link. I can't hear it now, but I mean, if I wanted to hear it, say tomorrow again,
The link that I put on my website, on Facebook, the blogtalkradio.com/DTM, all that with the date, Beyond Paranormal with Cheryl and Ben Ledoux, the one that's on my Facebook page.
Okay.
If you just cut and paste that, put it on your page, people can go right to the archive after the show.
Oh,
immediately.
Awesome. It's an immediate. That's awesome. That's so cool. So as soon as this is over, I'm talking, then I'll be able to share it so I can listen to it again. Because I like to hear what I sound like and how it. It's hard to really determine when you're on the phone to when you're listening to it online. So it's and then I can share it and put it in my group and on my other pages, and it'll be maybe it'll go viral. So
absolutely. I love doing our show, but every time I listen back to it, I'm like, wow, I sound like the biggest geek. I do. I'm a dork. Biggest dork.
You guys are awesome.
This overzealous city cheerleader.
It's so cool because how all this is happening.
I'm usually really talking with my hands and throwing my hands up in the air and walking around with the phone, and Ben's going to get me to sit still, and, I make funny faces while I'm talking, which is another reason why I shouldn't Skype, because people would probably laugh at me and be like, oh, my God, she makes the funniest expressions. I do.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that's awesome because you guys definitely got to get out to Epicon. That would definitely be, so cool to, meet in person. I'm going to try to... I want to see if I can get Jason and Jody to go out, and Will. That'll be awesome. And at least we'll be able to all meet, and maybe after the convention's over for a night, we can go have dinner or something, That would be really cool.
Might be harder for Will because he's down in Texas.
Oh, yeah, that would be definitely hard. Yeah, that's
and I think he's still filming and editing on his upcoming, his new movie. But I know that he has family in New York, and we've been trying to get him to come up here for a while.
Yeah.
So maybe once his filming settles down a little bit, he'll actually come up and bring Alyssa Onyx and everybody up because, there's just so many people we want to get together with that are on the DTM network, and we've been trying to get a DTM event where a lot of the hosts would get together because we've met quite a few of them, but...
Yeah.
Some of us, it's all Facebook, just talking through Facebook and everything, so.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have been in this position right now if it wasn't for my niece that hooked me up with Facebook in 2008. So, I'm serious.
I think by now you would have probably caught on by yourself, though.
Well, maybe not, because, when I tried when I was before she... did it for me, and what's it called? I tried it and I couldn't get it to work, so I was like, all right, what the hell with this? I'm not even going to bother. And
did you have
she did it in 5 minutes. My niece ran on the computer. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Kids, man.
Did you do the MySpace thing before Facebook?
Yeah, I was on MySpace, and I mean, I didn't use it as much as I use Facebook. Because it was just dorky. But
no, it wasn't. It wasn't dorky. I loved it.
I loved it until it didn't feel like it was MySpace anymore.
No, I know, totally.
Suddenly it became somebody else's space that I was on, and I didn't feel like it was MySpace.
I just liked that I could personalize my wall with all these cool quotes, and I could put my own playlist and I could just pop up MySpace, put my playlist on, and just leave it on my computer all day.
Yeah.
Facebook is just pretty straight to the point.
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely is.
Nobody does MySpace anymore because, I don't know, I think there was just like, it was like getting an STD for your computer.
Yeah.
You open MySpace, you got a virus.
That's true. Well, Facebook too. You get tons of viruses because everybody's sending them out, and you know, they send up these, and there was one the other day that I seen somebody sent one, this girl getting killed, and I didn't open it. One of the news pages sent it or something, and I read it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, don't do this, open this. It's a bad virus," and they, so. But I shared it, but still, yeah, you got to be careful also. I mean, with this, hackers, sending stupid stuff. I mean, people get in. Believe me, even though you have your privacy settings set to high or whatever, people can still get into it. So you got to be careful with it because it's
that's why I use my phone most of the time.
They can get into that too.
Yeah, but I mean, like the viruses, they don't kill your phone like they do your computer.
They'll find that's the thing. Everybody just has to be careful to the point of realizing that it doesn't seem to matter what media you use. So there's a way that somebody could do something. It's just a matter of imagination. They come up with a good way. They'll come up with a way to stop it. There'll be somebody else that comes up with another way to make it. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's counterfeiting. I don't care if it's...
Point being,
I was you know what, Benjamin? I was just going to say that.
And wrap it up.
if you're paranormal, if you're paranoid, excuse me, I'm used to saying paranormal so much. If you're paranoid, then
yourself.
I mean, it's like a door lock on your house. I mean, that ain't going to stop anybody from getting in. It's just there to keep the honest guy honest.
You never know what you can catch.
Well,
I'm going downhill from here.
yeah, really did. From paranormal to Toxic Avenger to people breaking into somebody's house.
But thank you so much, Dominick. I know we're at the top of the hour. I know we have Peter on the other line.
Sure, no
everybody,
problem.
Dominick, Skippy Calvitto from the Toxic Avenger. Look for him. He's going to be at Epicon next month, October 24th to the 26th. Look for Toxie22.
Toxic Avenger. Well, I think
that's
going to be an attraction also. He's going to be Mark Togel's going to be talking about his deal with that also with Toxic Tutu and all that other all the other movies he did, and he wears a lot of hats. Let's just put it that way.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. He is definitely a talented individual. God bless him.
Awesome. Well, I hope
definitely.
We can meet up next month, and we wish you the best, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, Cheryl and Benjamin, thank you for the opportunity, and I hope to see the link so I can share it right away in my group and everything. And I'll definitely be.
Me or her post it to our chat line to you.
It's right up. It's on my Facebook right now.
Or either way.
And you're tagged in it. So it should already be on your wall. Just copy and paste it.
All right, beautiful.
Okay,
definitely.
hon, have a great night.
All right, you too. Thank you, guys. Take care.
No problem, anytime.
Hope to see you next month. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. All right, bye.
Thank you, everyone, for continuing to listen to Beyond Paranormal with Ben and Cheryl. If you want to get in touch with us, call in 818-431-8214 or 713-955-0384. We just wrapped up talking with Dominick Skippy Calvitto. He played Skippy in the Toxic Avenger back in '84. He's going to be at the Epicon next month in October 24th to the 26th. So if you're going out there, say hi to him out in Dayton, Ohio. Coming up right now, we have Peter Lavasco online with us. Very cool guy. We've had the pleasure of meeting. And he's part of the DTM Wicked Radio Network team. So everybody say hello to Peter.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Cheryl. How are you guys tonight?
We're great. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. Got the windows open, letting this nice cool air come in. It's feeling great. Fall's right around the corner.
The leaves have been changing since mid-August. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's because we've been in a dry spell. Some areas haven't received that much QPF, which is precipitation, and what that does is it dries up the leaves, so they'll turn brown quicker, and that could actually take away some of the colorful foliage this season.
Boo. So it doesn't have anything to do with, like, we're going to get, like, a massive winter because the leaves turned color earlier or anything?
No, it's an old wives' tale. I wouldn't believe anything like that. You would look at the ice caps up in the Arctic Circle area. That's a sign of a cold winter coming. And it's got something to do with these little those worms there with the fur on them. What do you call those things? Do you remember the name for those things? I don't remember. The inchworms or something? I don't know. Whatever. The caterpillars, the color turns different. That's another tale. I wouldn't believe it. It's just a legend.
What about squirrels building their nests higher in trees?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about squirrels. I just know that they tried to get into my house through my roof, and we had a exterminator come out to get rid of them, make a trap, so no more squirrels running around up in our attic.
Oh, that's a good thing, because they ruin everything in your attic.
Well, there's two, and then I would think, some kind of paranormal activity is going on in my attic, but then I know they're just squirrels, so I have to debunk that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
We've had, not squirrels, we have a Siamese. And she frequents our walls.
Oh, does she?
Yes, because we're renovating, so we have some walls that are opened here and there, and she will get into the walls, get into the attic, get out of the house, jump off the roof.
Oh, geez.
So before we knew she was doing that, it was like, oh, my, what the heck is that going on? Because our house is pretty active to begin with.
Yeah.
Then we had to learn what was activity and what was just a Siamese cat running through the wall.
That's wild. Can you imagine that? Meow!
And,
stuck in the wall.
She'd jump out of a heating vent.
Oh, no.
I have really high ceilings in my kitchen, and the heating vent's probably a good 10 feet off the floor. And she would just all of a sudden jump out of it at you. All of a sudden you have like a cat in your, on your kitchen table.
Oh my God, that would freak me out.
Yeah.
Especially she jumps at you like that with those claws. You don't want to get cat scratch fever.
Try seeing a cat flip from underneath the eave of the roof, one story up.
Try saying that.
The cat, she gets out of from a tiniest little hole in the eave of the roof.
Yeah.
Like one story off the ground. So that's, with the rocks from the basement, probably a good 10, 12 feet up.
Wow.
And she'll flip herself up onto the roof and then jump off.
Wow. Well, that's why cats have 9 lives, Cheryl.
My cat has more than 9. Yeah, our first year living here, we couldn't find the cat. And we're standing out on the deck. We're had our backs facing the pool, and so we're like facing the house. And if you look up, that's like the roof above the slider, and there's the chimney and everything. And there goes Charlotte walking across the top of the house.
Oh, wow.
It's like she's a bewitched cat. Likes to hang out on the roof, like the top of the roof.
You'll have to take her to the Pet Expo Saturday and see Rob Goutreau and ask him if there's anything going on with your cat.
Why, is he like a pet psychic?
He's a ghost medium, and he wrote a book on pets in the afterlife. So
really?
He knows a lot about, he knows a lot, like pets can talk after they're dead and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to meeting him. I had him on a couple of weeks ago as a guest on my show. And
you'll have to send me his name so I can remember it, because I don't have. I just walked away from my computer for 2 seconds. So.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send that to you. No problem.
Sorry, I'm back. I had to take a quick little break.
Ben has knee troubles, and he just spilt his entire drink.
Oh, no.
He just poured himself a glass of soda, went to turn to hobble onto the edge of the chair next to the desk, and completely took out the glass and everything on the table.
Oh, no. Well, he's okay, right?
I think so.
Yeah, well, he's still recovering. Like, he had his surgery right after we saw you at Lizzie Borden.
Oh, how'd that go? Did that go good?
The surgery, well, They thought there was only one. They thought maybe there was one small tear.
Actually, the word I got was, I don't really think there's anything wrong. I think physical therapy or a shot of cortisone will work.
Oh, really?
And they got in there, and there was a lateral and a meniscus tear. So he had two large medial.
They're both meniscus tears.
Oh, well, anyways, two tears rather than one tear.
Yeah.
And now he's got, like, even though I've been trying to keep him off of his feet, he's got a ton of fluid buildup on his knee. So it is. It looks like a baseball, and it's squishy, and it's gross.
And they didn't drain it.
Not yet. He's going to go to get his stitches removed.
They don't really drain it. They let it absorb. It's orthoscopic. So, I mean, it's just two little dots.
Right.
But he's going to have his stitches out tomorrow, finally. It's been like 2 weeks.
Stitches. Yeah. They're really like two stitch.
Yeah.
One on one side and one on the other.
No, actually, it looks like more than that. It looks like they put like 5 in one little spot.
It's a big knot.
Yeah, it's a huge knot. This is crazy. But
I hope everything works out for him.
They may have to drain it, though, because I think it's more than it should be. But he doesn't listen ever.
Did they say what causes that?
Working.
Yeah.
Being on his feet, the tears or the fluid.
Ben. I don't want something like that.
I know. I've been trying to find out. I'm gonna have to go talk. I'm gonna have to start talking to somebody about getting a different job. I need to sit in front of a computer.
What do you get? Do you get calcium? Is it the calcium that builds up under the kneecap? Is that what caused it?
No, actually, just
I
overworking your knees, and then if you happen to twist it wrong, or you fall, or just overworking it. Like athletes tear their knees all the time.
Yeah,
right.
The difference is I actually extended my leg in the opposite direction it bends.
Oh, jeez, that doesn't sound good at all.
That's the best way to explain it.
Wow, that pain must have been a horror.
Actually, it didn't. I'm weird, but it didn't really hurt at first. But I noticed it kept swelling up, and then I kept on working, and then I realized that it locked up on me. It's kind of like sticking a piece of wood in a wedge of a hinge.
Right.
And it just locks completely up, and you cannot unbend it unless you sit there and do this little wiggle dance.
I can just feel the listeners going, ooh.
You have to do this little wiggle dance with your until you get the piece to fall back in place where it belongs, so that you can get back up and bend it.
Because the tear will like unalign and glue your knee in place.
Yeah, it's fun.
Fun stuff.
Oh, that hurt.
Don't do that. Not recommended.
Well,
that hurts worse than tearing it.
And the cold weather's not good for that either.
No, and I know when it rains, and I can predict weather too.
They say women can have that ability. We don't need a knee for that.
Like I was telling Cheryl,
I can always tell when it's cold.
Yeah, we haven't had much rain lately. You're lucky if you had one of those thunderstorms the last couple of weeks that can drop.
Yeah, we got a little rain.
We had that thunderstorm that came through the other time, I think we got 4 inches of rain.
Yeah, that filled our pool. We had one really good storm where our pool got 4 or 5 inches of rain in it.
Now you guys are in southern or
we're in northern,
western,
northwest.
We're kind of like western.
Up Route 2 by Gardner.
Oh, okay. So you're in Franklin, Fitch, or Worcester County, northern Worcester
Yeah,
County.
we're on the Worcester County line. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're right up on the mountainside where we are, so it's kind of like hillside, mountainside. I don't know. It's a valley on both sides of us, so we either get nailed or we get nothing.
Yeah, a lot of times the storms go right around us. So
yeah.
Well, you
know. People a mile down the road.
Of all the people you know.
Yes, of all the people I know. The people, a mile down the road in the next town over, they'll get a foot of snow and we'll get 3 inches.
Or the other way around.
Yeah, or a complete opposite.
Well, if you don't like snow, that's good. If you do like snow, well, then I guess that sucks.
I liked snow when I was younger.
Luckily, I don't have to travel much. Once in a while, I get inconvenienced and I have to travel through it, but I only drive back and forth to work every 2 weeks. I go to work for 2 weeks, and then I come home for 2 weeks. So I only have to drive for 4 hours, 5, 6 hours in nasty weather. So it really doesn't affect me.
That's good, yeah. That's good. Traffic-wise, ain't bad either then, right?
Usually the highways are maintained pretty good, but he's called and been like, there's 6 inches of snow on the road.
Yeah.
Thank God I have a truck. Like when he used to have his truck, thankfully. Mm-hmm. Now he's got his little black, Lucerne sports car. And
goes fine in the snow.
Yeah, $2,000 tires. They better go good in the snow.
Well,
he didn't know how much the tires cost. He's a motorhead, of course, and knows everything about cars.
But
he never questioned the price.
Yeah.
He never questioned the price of how much the tires and the rims would cost on his new car. They were half the price of the car.
Yeah, the wider the tires are, the better the traction you have. It's usually the case.
Depends.
More stability.
It depends. It's a fine line. It goes by weight and
well, that's true
distribution of where the engine versus transmission, and where the weight over the drivetrain. There's a lot of variables, not other than tire size. Because you get something like a Volkswagen Beetle actually goes very well through the snow and the mud. Believe it or not.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Because they actually, the small diameter tires cut through to the snow a lot easier with the weight of the car, even though it was light.
Yeah.
It applied most of the pressure down to the road and would actually push through the snow. Obviously, ice would have the adverse condition.
Now, trust this conversation, because he was the kind of teenager who him and his brother would take their cars and beat the crap out of them and go get stuck in 2 feet of snow or mud, and their father would have to come pick them up in the middle of the night.
Let me set the story straight.
They know what goes and what doesn't.
I have never, ever in my life had to pick up my father. Now,
you have to help your brother.
I've had to go out to pick up my brother, but I have never been physically stuck or in an accident that was my fault.
Right.
It's always the rock or the road.
No, seriously, I never caused an accident with my cars.
No, it's always the road or something else's fault.
We used to
Wait a minute, that is a lie. I did once with my new car.
Oh,
no, it's not a lie, actually. It's very true. I had one accident with my car, and that wasn't my fault. That was because my car decided that all these new cars, they decided that, see, I'm used to driving old cars. I've never driven new cars. It's the newest vehicle I've ever owned.
Yep.
I like the old cars. I like the way they feel. I like the way they drive. I like being the one in control.
Right.
And they invented this great thing called traction control, and or whatever the heck it's called. But basically it's an assisted driving mechanism.
The stability
control or something. I don't remember what it's called on the car, but I shut it off now because I hate it.
Yeah.
And that is why I actually got into an accident, is because I had a front-wheel drive vehicle. So on a front-wheel drive vehicle, if you lose control in the snow, of course, if you're losing power, if you're sliding, you would give it a little bit of gas to use the tires to steer yourself. Well, opposite for rear-wheel drive. You let off the gas to gain control, which is what normally you would do. So me knowing how to drive a car, I'm like, okay, I'm sliding. So I go to give it power, and the car actually, because both tires slip, it actually cut all the power to the car. I had no gas pedal.
Oh,
so
wow.
Because of the traction control, I slid in and hit a post.
No, we have a fork in the road, and he took out the nice brand new town sign they put in right before winter. And it split his bumper, like the front, they're plastic or whatever they are.
Yeah, they don't make cars anymore that are real to last.
Oh,
he came home and he was like halfway in tears. He's like, my poor car, I've only had it 6 months. Damn car didn't know how to stop.
No, it didn't know how to go.
Or go.
Well, I would think even at 5 miles per hour, if you hit something, it would still cause a lot of damage.
That's about how fast I was going.
They don't make cars that well anymore. Really don't. The bumpers will come right off if you just hit a curb too fast. You know?
Actually, it's safer. Most people don't realize that your car is actually designed to explode, basically, when it hits something.
Yeah.
And the theory, the way it works is basically it uses the force of the impact to basically blow apart the car and stop. And so, I mean, if you hit with a certain impact, you have a force, a calculated force. I mean, you hit at 5 miles an hour, you're going to cause this much inertia damage.
Right.
So basically, by blowing itself apart, it's shooting all the damage out in different directions and reducing the impact of the driver inside the car.
You just love this. This turned into a Motorhead show.
Oh.
Hey, I'm enjoying it. I don't mind. Weather's been boring lately, so there's really not much to talk about in the weather department. What do you guys want to know?
What? Oh, okay. So this was something that was new to me.
No. Which one?
Hold on.
No, I won't mind.
That we learned about you from Lizzie Borden. Let's explain everybody what exactly the leader of Get Wet is.
Okay, it's funny.
It sounds so naughty, but it's actually an abbreviation.
Well, that was the group I made when we were first with. I was on the bridge. It was a community site. I started up my own weather team. So Get Wet is Gloucester's enthusiastic trio weather extreme team. And we would be out in the elements, and we'd be reporting live streaming on Ustream during hurricanes, nor'easters, whatever Mother Nature threw at us, from Good Harbor Beach or on the back shore or anywhere on Cape Ann, Essex County, and even out in western Massachusetts we traveled as well, chasing storms as well. So I came up with, and my co-partner came up with Get Wet. So that's how we came up with that.
Man, and I was hoping for a really cool club because that actually sounded like something I
wanted to do.
You're
so bad. Shut up.
Now, here's the most important question I have.
What's that?
You are a weatherman, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I just got to know because of you see all the cliches on TV and all the different things. Do you wear pants behind the desk when you're broadcasting weather?
You wear pants behind the desk?
Well, you always standing there, you see the thing, and then they always show them coming out, and they're like wearing their boxers.
Yeah,
I just was curious.
That's just one of those things.
I mean, most time it'd be suits, pants, slacks, but
I just had to ask.
I'm not on TV like you see the other guys. I'm behind the scenes, so I would say that most time they wear suits.
The reason I thought about it, well, one, we were watching our guests that we were talking to our guests that we just had on, and then the second thing was I was watching Tom and Jerry this morning.
I love Tom
and they had a newscaster scene, and the guy runs out, of course, in his boxer shorts, and I just
comes by the desk.
And you get the greatest things from the things from our childhood, and the fact that I had to get to watch an original Tom and Jerry today, I was just having a grand old time. Yeah. And they just stuck in my head. I'm like, oh, perfect, I got a question.
I'll tell you what, Ben. Growing up as a kid, I always wanted to know the same thing, because sometimes on a weekend, you could tell that they weren't wearing a full suit, and it was just a jacket, and they probably had on a pair of shorts underneath. So you might be right way back when, but I think now it's mandatory that you have to wear a suit.
There's like laws and stuff for that now.
Well, they were behind a blue screen. They could put anything they want on a green screen. Blue screen.
I'll tell you what. I don't think the appearance makes a big deal. I really think it'd be better if it was more casual. Then they could have more fun with it instead of being so serious. That's my point of view. I would think it'd just make for a better weather forecast airing, in jeans, t-shirt or something.
A lot of the forecasters now are on scene. They get, like you said, extreme teams out on the beach, in the weather, talking about everything. So they're usually in like coats and umbrellas, and they have polo cardigans with their news emblems and stuff on them, and
yeah, they have ponchos on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have those. We have our Good Morning Gloucester sweatshirts and T-shirts, and I think this is probably going to be the last weekend you're going to see me wearing a T-shirt.
It's getting cold. It's getting cold fast.
It is getting cold fast, and we're going to be first day of fall and autumn is on Sunday the 21st. Believe it or not.
Wow. We got to go get apples before it's too cold, because I don't like to be cold.
This is the best time of year to go apple picking right now. I've had a lot of friends that call me and saying, what's it like? What are the outdoor events going to be like? I got messages, emails, people having weddings asking me forecasts 10, 14 days in advance. I'm like, I'm not a fan of, long-range forecasting, because Mother Nature's always changing her tune, and computer models are always jumping from one scenario to worst-case scenario to, nothing's going to happen. So you can't really run out there and say, yeah, it's going to be perfect. And then you get a rainstorm or a snowstorm, and then the wedding or whatever outing event is ruined. So as far as long range goes, I'm not a fan of that. But, yeah, it's great for apple picking weather right now. Definitely get out there and do it. It's fun,
too. I'm a huge follower of government, conspiracy, politics, things like that. What's your view on these mechanical apparatus, satellite things that can control or alter the weather? Because I've seen days where, they'll say, okay, in 2 days it's going to be, 90 degrees and 0% chance of rain, and everybody's like, let's go to the beach. And then next thing you know, there's a 100% chance of rain, and we're getting hail.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up there, Cheryl. To answer your question, as far as government controlling the weather goes, I don't think the satellites have anything to do with it. There's too much spying on us as it is, so they don't really have time to control the weather from up in space. But I will say this. There is a government, I guess you'd call it controversy as far as HAARP goes, H-A-R-P, HAARP. And it's a farm where they have all those wind towers, whatever you call them. Do you know the turbines?
Yep.
Now, someone took a video out there that was a meteorologist and very reliable and credible of clouds being formed in waves, and it would start at 7 in the morning, and then it would go through 3 in the afternoon. And you could see how they were moving. There'd be a whole set of 10 waves of clouds that would form, move, and then die out. Form, move, and die out. And they keep doing it over the exact same area. So I think they can control some type of our weather, although, it's a big conspiracy theory. But I've read about it. I've heard about it from reliable sources that something's going on out there in Arizona or the desert Southwest, where they're trying to come up with something to control it.
Well, what's funny is I've actually worked in an area where I've seen weather kind of controlled in a way, but not exactly. When I worked in Brazil, they had so many oil rigs that they had off the coast of Brazil that were over where I was working, that all the burn-off that they were giving.
Yeah.
When we used to go out to the site, it was almost like a permanent cloud over the top of the rigs, and we'd have our own little weather pattern right there just from the burn-off.
Yep, and the wind, and you notice the wind changing direction as well, and the humidity dropping too?
To be honest, I didn't pay that much attention at the time.
Yeah.
As far as what the parameters are, other than the fact that every time we went out to the rigs, you would always know you were getting close because you would come into this cloud. It just seemed to hang over. It just literally, there was always a cloud over the rigs.
Yeah. Yep.
I just thought that was...
So I think, guys, I think they're doing something. I don't know what. I can't prove anything, but again, it's a conspiracy theory, and everybody has a conspiracy theory. But you can look it up online. HAARP, H-A-R-P, and it will talk all about what they're doing or what people think they are doing.
Yeah, there's so many conspiracies. You never know what to believe anymore.
The government's controlling a lot more than we know.
Yeah, this weather's been really boring lately. Around the world, it's been pretty active. We've had, all of a sudden we just had this Icelandic volcano rupture that hasn't erupted in over 35 years or so, or even more. So all these weird things are happening. We had this hurricane off the Bajas. I can't even pronounce the name. Idel, that came up over was it San Juan Lucas, I think it is. Is that it?
Yep, that's right.
Baja came up over there as a Category 3 hurricane. How rare is it to get a hurricane in the Pacific to come up over the Baja? We've seen this time and time again. This year, it's been the third storm that's tried to approach the Southern California coast, or at least the southern Baja of Mexico, and then try to ride up into the northern Baja of California, into Southern California. And then what's happening is all these systems are forming out in the exact same area. After a while,
they're trying to wipe out the cartel in half of California.
It could be. I mean, I think the government uses the weather towards, our enemies, maybe, or combatants, but and they could use it in warfare as well. I'm sure. There's a lot of things we don't know about. But you got to remember, you can't keep getting a storm system forming in the same area, because eventually that water, where a tropical system's going to form, is going to cool, and then there's nothing really there, no energy source left in that open water area in the ocean to fuel another storm. But this is strange that it's happening over and over and over again in the same area out there.
I'll throw this one out here too, because I like attacking things from other points of view. Even sometimes I do agree, sometimes I don't agree with my own self. But I don't usually lose the argument. But another thing to look at is the fact that maybe all these storms are forming in the same place. Just as you got to think of, some people look at the Earth and it's like its defense mechanism is cleansing itself, and maybe it's the activities that we're doing that are causing storms to form over the time, and it's just the Earth's way of kind of like an immune system washing itself clean.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. That's a possibility. Total possibility. With all the stuff that we're putting up in the atmosphere, what we're doing to the world, that could happen. Pollution in the ocean, people being careless or just throwing stuff over boats, and there's just chemicals, oil spills. We've had all these major oil spills. We had in the Gulf of Mexico, we had a big one. The Valdez, we had one up in Alaska. And we don't know what's going on out in these oil rigs out in the Gulf of Mexico. They could be
pipelines. Kuwait itself. How much pollution was that?
Yeah. And then
we have all the dolphins are suddenly dying in disease. We have great white sharks who are generally southern creatures suddenly all over Cape Cod.
Right, and you got Fukushima. When they had the radioactive leak. I think Fukushima has a lot to do with what's going on as far as tropical activity goes the last couple of years. They're not saying much, but there's a site you can go on, a government site. I think you just go to NOAA.gov and you look up radiation levels, and it'll show levels across our country and across the oceans. In California, Pacific waters are really high. And even into as far as Nevada over the interior. But if you go to the northeast side, it's pretty low. But as you bring up the great whites, our water temperatures right now, guys, are in the low 70s off of Cape Cod and 75, close to 80 off Long Island, by about 50 miles. So I'd say it's probably about 73, 74 off Long Island. So our water temperatures are still very warm for this time of year. And what happens is you got the Gulf Stream, so the sails migrate north, and they like to stay close to the rocks near Cape Cod and even off of Cape Ann and off of Maine. You don't hear that many great whites up in Cape Ann, but there have been a few. But seldomly they'll come up in groups to our area. But Cape Cod sticks out so far, and you get more sail population. And you know what? Sails to them, dinner time. So if you're out where the sails are, you have a chance of getting bitten, like those two girls did on their kayaks.
I was going to say, the kayakers that were out there, they had their boats, nice little chunk taken out.
Yeah, and I have friends that fish and go out tuna fishing that leave Gloucester, and they go out for about 3, 4, 5-day trips, and they tell me that they've seen great whites about 30, 40, 50 miles offshore, and sometimes even past our breakwater, which is...
We have a friend that has a charter. I think is he still out of the New Bedford area?
I believe so.
Yeah, and they go sharking, and it got so popular, and the sharks swarm here so much that he actually offers a service now where he bought a shark cage. And if people aren't interested in fishing, they can go have a shark experience instead. They throw the cage off the back of the boat, and he posts videos all the time about these giant sharks swarming the cages.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I think, too, a lot of the shark sightings and stuff has to do with, well, I was a skeptic until I talked with my guest here last week, Rob Goutreau. He's a science and hurricane specialist, but we also talked about global warming. I've always denied what scientists were saying is the world is warming. Well, however, he changed my mind with all the information and data that he's come up with from satellites and reports that what's happening is our waters are warming. So you're going to have more sharks. You're going to have more things. And you got to remember, sharks are also sea creatures. So they have every right to be out there, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, when we used to go to the Cape, and like Hampton Beach, Salisbury, everywhere, every summer, and our parents, we never had to worry about sharks in the water, even after, like, seeing all the Jaws movies and everything. Our parents like, oh, no, that's not, not real. There's no sharks up here. I never once heard about a shark attack up here as a child or even a young adult. But now it seems like the past few years, it's like left and right, there's sharks and shark attacks, and people are getting bit, and surfers are getting hit. Yeah.
Sharks, and also another thing is the jellyfish are popping up. We actually had man o' wars. Those are like China jellyfish. They're technical. The technicals that hang out from them are electric. So if you happen to touch one of them, not only will you get the shock from it, but the poison from them is pretty strong. I remember one day they closed the beaches up here because there were hundreds of them right off the water. So you walk out about 3 or 4 feet, and there they all were. And that's because they came up with the warm water. So that's another thing we need to watch out for. There's just a bunch of stuff that happens with ocean temperatures being really warm. Now, once we go through, say, the next couple of weeks, we'll start to see the temperatures start to cool down because we're going to have a strong high pressure coming out of Canada, and that's going to start a North Atlantic oscillation, and that's going to be the turning flow of the waters off of the Atlantic Ocean in Greenland, and then you have the Greenland block setting up, and I think that's when we'll cool down. I think we'll be able to shed those sharks further south back down towards Florida, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we lived in Florida down on the Panhandle for a while, and the Gulf waters are really warm, and I watched the news and stuff, I had just had a baby, whatever. I don't think living there for the 9 months that we were on the Panhandle, I ever went in the water once.
Was
we had an episode where there was a massive sea turtle that was, like, bigger than a queen-size bed. They had, like, things of, like, giant jellyfish. There was always shark attacks and everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm good on the beach. I will sit here in the sand. I will walk along the beach, but I won't even stick my feet in the water.
Were you near Panama Beach?
Yeah, we were pretty close, about a half hour. We were in Pensacola.
Okay. I lived in Tampa for a couple of years, so I definitely can relate to as far as the warm waters go. It was just like not even being refreshed down there. You just get off.
No, it was bath water.
Yeah, you get off the boat, you go in, and you don't even cool off.
Yeah, no, during the winter when we were there, we would go down to the beach with our daughter, she was an infant then, and we'd go walk the boardwalk, walk the beach, and, just like a long sleeve shirt, and it's like kind of like weather and a little bit warmer than it is now, high 60s.
Yeah.
That was like as cold as it got. It was kind of nice.
It's going to be good. They're going to have a cold winter down there as well this year.
Oh.
Yep. I wouldn't even rule out some snow in the northern panhandle, to be honest with you.
Well, we did have like one segment of cool weather because a lot of people don't realize that up in the panhandle that they do actually have normal trees. Florida isn't all palm trees.
Right.
And they did have some types of trees where the leaves changed color. And, I mean, they came back really quick, but we did have a point where I think we got some hail, so it was kind of like snow.
Right. That's cool.
I mean, the ground had a little covering on it, so that was interesting.
Yeah, when I was living in Tampa, I was trying to take up bets with my friends, telling them, look, it's going to snow. I tell you, it's going to snow here in Tampa because I am here. And one forecast came out, and it was a friend of mine at ABC down in Tampa, and I met him at a club, and he's also a former New Englander, and he says, you know what, Pete, we actually might have a chance for a few flurries in Tampa tomorrow morning early or late tonight. I says, oh, wow, I'll get up and go look out that window, and which I wouldn't because a few flurries doesn't really get me excited. I'd rather be up in New England in a blizzard, but we never got those flurries, but they did up in Jacksonville, and I believe Panama as well.
I was in Houston when they had I forgot how many years it had been.
Ice storm. Yeah.
No, it was snow. They had a snow in Houston. I forget what year it was. they hadn't had it for, like, I don't remember how many years it's been since they had snow that actually stuck to the ground.
Well, that had to have been somewhere around, like, 2000, 2001.
Yeah,
was that out in Houston?
Yeah. I forget when that was.
You know, they do get snow out there, like, once in a great while.
I thought it was 30 or 40 years since they had last gotten the snow when it finally did.
You know, it's funny. It's like a lot of my friends that are meteorologists that are, Brooks Goddard, a meteorologist down there in Houston, he's from New England. A lot of the guys that are meteorologists all around are now in the South. But I'll message him later on, and I'll ask him if he knows anything about that. I'm sure it's probably in the analogs as well. A lot of people.
Oh, I'm sure. I remember it was a big deal. They had it all over the news when we were down there.
Yeah. That'd be cool, you know. Oh, my God, it's snowing in Houston. But, again, up in Plano, Dallas, I mean, they can get good snows. Yep. They can get it. Look
not
what
safe anywhere.
Look what happened in South Dakota last week. They got 1.6 inches of snow, and then 2 days later, they hit 82 degrees. And that snow that they received in South Dakota, I forget what town it was. I'll have to look it up. Was earliest on record ever. So that's going to tell you guys what we got coming up for this winter. And I know the Farmer's Almanac is predicting a very cold and snowy winter. And some other meteorology sites or weather forecasters are predicting a horrific winter and panicking the public that, oh my God, it's going to be crazy and we're all going to die. We're going to be stuck in supermarkets. You know, you don't want to fall into the hype. You know what I mean? You want to.
Right. Don't flood the stores and buy 50 gallons of milk. Nobody can hold that much milk or bread for that length of time.
Yeah.
Just so everybody realizes this. You do not need to empty the stores for milk if you're going to get stuck in a blizzard. You will not drink it in time for it to go bad.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to play.
Isn't that the funniest thing? The first thing you go for, you're like, oh, let me just go get some milk. There's no milk. There's no bread. You can't even keep a loaf of bread for more than a week before it molds the way they make it now anyways. So I'm just curious as to why people do that. But, I mean, the panic, I guess, sets in. But it's like, oh, I'm going to get stuck in my house for a month.
Well, I wonder
you're going to be stuck in there for about a day.
I wonder if the media markets have a deal going with these supermarkets, you know, to hype up the weather. So, and then we'll work something out. You know what I mean? You never know. You never know.
So, a stock tip, I think, maybe we should start investing in Wonder Bread if we're going to have a really bad winter.
Canned bread.
What was the other one?
The canned bread. You know, you can find it in the store, I think, still. They make that canned
brown bread. Oh, that stuff is so gross.
Oh, God. Is that like wheat stuff in that can?
Yeah.
His brother loves it.
Oh, man. That's like Spam. So you just
that's another thing that's nasty.
You got to take a can of Spam and a can of that canned bread and mix it. Oh, God. Too much for me.
That's because all that's left on the shelf.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll buy rice.
Yeah.
That'll work better. I can keep it longer.
I think what the public needs to know and be aware of is that, you know, it's more reality. And we try to nowcast as much as we can during storm events and you know, 24 hours ahead. Because computer models are no good, Ben, after 24 hours. Once we've gotten all the information that we received, you know, we use that to make our forecasts and our tools. But a computer model is not exactly the forecast. It's just a tool that we use to digest into our forecast. So basically it's like 45 to 50% of the forecast. And then you take all the other stuff and you put it in with it. Do you guys want to know what the winter's going to be like?
Sure.
Okay.
Do I really want to know, though?
Okay. All right.
Should I buy a snowmobile now?
I wouldn't invest in it. I'd wait until mid to late October to see how it turns out. Well, you all know the tale. If it snows early in October, we have a mild winter. That's always been the case up here in Massachusetts and southern New England. Always. I don't know if you recall back in 2011, I think it was, when it snowed on the Patriots game at October 16th, I believe, or the 18th.
I remember it very well.
At Foxborough.
It was actually
it
was the ice storm.
It was not
here.
the 16th. It was
18th, right?
Kimberly's birthday.
Was that the 18th?
I think it was actually October 29th. We had that foot of snow.
No,
and
that
then
wasn't it.
Oh, you're talking about a different one. No, you're
That's
talking about a different storm.
I'm talking about the one that was the first, second week in October where it snowed in Foxborough.
We had all ice up here.
Oh, did you? Yeah, we had.
It was horrible. I had to go out and play rescue with my truck because a lot of people don't realize that they really can't drive in New England. But and they can.
We had a mix of snow sleet here in town, and then it went to snow. We got a quick inch of slush, and it went back to rain. But in Foxborough, some of my friends were down there, and they called me and said, "Pete, what do you mean it's going to snow? We got a cold rain. It's about 40 degrees." I says, "Look, give it about 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to snow there. The temperature's dropping. I'm watching it." So, when you know, I get a phone call about 2 minutes later, and I'm watching the game on TV, and I'm like, "Oh, it's snowing. It's a complete whiteout there in Foxborough." They got 4 inches of snow within 2 hours, covered the field. It was crazy. I forget who they played. I don't remember the team, but they calling me and saying, "You know what? It's snowing." I'm like, "I told you." Like, how the hell are we going to get home? It's like the roads are awful. I'm like, it's going to last for a few hours, but it happens. So, with that being said, if we get early snow, Ben and Cheryl, then look for a mild winter. A lot of meteorologists are calling for early snow in October. I'm not buying that. I'm buying that it's going to get cold after next week. Like this week, we're going to be cool. Tomorrow, we're not going to get out of the 50s in New England, we are 40s probably up north in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and New York State, eastern New York State. But then we're going to warm up to 80 degrees by Sunday. So it's going to be like a roller coaster. Then, like we had another cold front pass through tonight, which has been it's cold front after cold front. We got a quick moving jet stream across our country, so we don't have any troughs on the East Coast to dig in and make a nor'easter. But the big question mark is what's going to happen in mid-October? Well, the high pressure in Canada is going to build southeast. Another high pressure is going to build off the Greenland, off of Gulf of Maine. That's going to set up a north wind. That's going to drag down a lot of cold air. I think our temperatures will be in the 40s by mid-October, and I think our first snowfall will be early November, which means it leaves the door open for a cold, snowy winter, or, Ben, if the high pressure is farther south, say south of southern New England and off the mid-Atlantic coast out, by 500, 600, 700 miles out in the ocean, that's where the block sets up, usually north of where the Bermuda High would be in the summertime. Then we're looking at a very cold and dry winter. So it's a 50-50 for me right now as far as forecasting the winter. I need to see more data before I can jump on board that we're going to have enormous amounts of snow.
We're probably going to have snow on Halloween again. The kids are going to be miserable. Everybody's going to have to trudge through the snow.
It's the best way.
No, it's not.
You get more candy. They all want to get rid of it.
It's pathetic when you have to go trick-or-treating now in snowsuits over your costumes.
Well, I want a good nor'easter. I'll leave the snow. We can have some rain and wind. I love the wind. I'm a big wind man up here.
I love the wind, but you can keep it out of the Northeast.
Last time we had big wind, it took out our power lines, and they haven't been the same since.
If it comes up in the Northeast, I'm working down in New Jersey, and when we come down around the corner, heading out towards the Seaview to go out, that is the worst possible wind condition for making extremely high trough waves.
Oh, yeah, same up here in Cape Ann. Northeast winds are our worst. That makes your big surf, and that's what can cause some severe coastal flooding.
Good, but it makes them, when the Northeast comes down and then with the tide coming in, you get these really steep waves. I mean, 15, 30-foot waves, okay, if it's a long trough, great. You can go through it kind of like a gentle rocking. But you get a steep wave with that northeast wind coming up, chopping up as the tide comes in. It's horrible. It is horrible because it acts so fast.
Do you go down to New Jersey a lot?
Yes.
Okay. Were you there for Sandy?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
You were home.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I was. I was there.
You guys had a dock?
We didn't have a dock. We held all the.
I don't remember.
No, we held all the. We held the scrapyard together.
Is that were you near Atlantic City?
No, we were over in right off the teardrop for 9/11.
Over around
in Claremont.
Yeah. Claremont, okay. Was it? How far are you from Wildwood?
Wildwood would be all the way down the coast. We're up closer into the New York Harbor area.
Newark.
Oh, okay,
more close to Newark.
Okay, so you saw that whole thing then. You saw what it did to the Coney Island and to all that area.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That was
we went out
wild.
It.
I've never seen a storm, guys, go out to sea, do a loop, and then slam right back in the air. When it was forecasted to go out and then come into New England, but instead we had a blocking and it shunted further south, and that's what could happen. I'm not saying a Sandy scenario, but a lot of nor'easters could retrograde into New Jersey, the Mid-Atlantic, if the high's in the right position. If it's further north, then they'll come into New England. But I do see. I will say this. I do see one big storm, either in December or right before Christmas time, or early January, right after the New Year, slamming anywhere from the Jersey coast to the Maine coast, and it'll be quite large too and impressive. I don't know. I don't recall. I remember Sandy was down to 900, and believe it or not, I think it was 946 millibars. I might be wrong.
I can't remember. Actually, I was on the boat, and I should know.
But
I remember looking at it, and it was like, wow. The water was crazy, too. I mean, I don't even remember how much the swell was. Plus, they had the moon effect, I believe, at that time, too.
And if I recall correctly, I think that was in October.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
September or October. I think it was October. I really do. It could have been October or early November. I know because it was a late storm, and usually our storms don't retrograde until you get into the late fall, winter time, you know?
But that was a nasty one. That was. Yeah. I don't even remember how high that was. It was the water was high.
Yeah.
We went out in it afterwards. The waters were still high at the point when we were out. I mean, the Hudson was like a wild rapids river. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. I had a lot of weather friends that are all up and down the coast in that area, and we were tweeting each other, and they were telling me how crazy it was, and I just was in awe, like, oh my God, all those people. I hope everybody's okay. And this, they said the storm surge was about 25, 30 feet coming on shore, which is unheard of, and the waves.
Oh, the water was at least 10 to 15 feet up.
And the waves on top of that were 35, 40 feet. They said they were like the size of buildings coming on shore. I'm like, oh my God, that was just a horror experience. Worst case scenario.
Yeah, it was. It just happened to come together just in the way. And believe it or not, on a boat, it was just completely weird being out there. I mean, you literally couldn't see the bow of the boat. And I'm not on a very big boat right now. I used to work ships all the time, and now I'm on a tugboat.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even see the bow of the boat with the rain and the winds. It was just, you just couldn't see. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of the window.
Yeah, you got to be careful on those tugboats this winter time.
Well, been through worse. I've gone through typhoons. I've gone right through the Straits of Gibraltar during a tropical. I don't know if it'd be a tropical depression. It was one step below a hurricane.
Oh, it's our
That's a wild place to be.
The Cape Horn?
No, going through the Straits of Gibraltar.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. That was back in maybe 97 or 96.
Were you tugging a big boat?
Yeah, that was a 700 and something foot.
Wow.
We went through there, and that was like, I mean, literally, it was like you could jump up in the air and watch the ground disappear underneath you, and then it would come back down to meet you by the time you landed. And it was weird. It was wild. I mean, literally, you could sit there and sit inside the wheelhouse and watch, and you just see nothing but sky for like 10, 15 seconds, and then you see nothing but water for 10 or 15 seconds. And it was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like it's the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah. They had a ship not long ago that got pushed up on shore over there.
Yeah.
When a storm went through.
Well, if you ever get the chance, well, I'm not telling you to do this, but Cape Horn has the worst weather in the world.
Oh yes, I've been around it a couple times.
It's almost kind of like the Bermuda Triangle. This place has got so much mystery to it that cannot be solved why they have such destructive storms. You're lucky if you get a day where it's not a hurricane down there. It's always stormy down by Cape Horn. It's kind of like being on the planet Jupiter, where they have that big red mark hole on it where it's constant storms all the time.
Right.
But yeah, Cape Horn has got a lot of mystery to it, and I'm really intrigued, and I really would like to know why that goes on in that area. It could be because the water streams all meet up, and then they just converge in that area, and maybe they spin a little too tightly, and then you get all the mixing from all the levels of the winds in different directions, and it's just it's a weather. I tell you, it's weather porn right down there in Cape Horn. It's just unbelievable, and I can't believe you've been through that area. That just blows my mind.
3 times. 2 times were hell, and 1 time it was. We must have got lucky because it was the most tranquil water. We went right through it.
Yeah, a lot of people lose their lives down there in that area, Cape Horn.
Not a fun place to go around. I forget what ship I was on with that.
The good ship Lollipop.
we went through it 3 times.
That's crazy.
But it was we went through it one time and we were all dreading it, and it was nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
We went right around it. It was like everybody was like, "Holy, we made it!" We tied everything down for nothing.
That's cool. But just let the public know, and don't panic anybody this year as far as winter goes. Play it by ear, listen to the forecast, tune in.
You realize that when we get a foot of snow on Halloween, everyone's going to be calling you, Peter.
I know, right? Hate mail's coming in. I can deal with a little bit of criticism. It's okay. It makes me stronger, and it makes me work even harder. But actually, I've very lately have I had any criticism. It's actually been all pretty good, so I'm enjoying that on this side of the weather front.
I might just blame you for the weather.
Okay.
It's going to snow today. No,
damn
it's not,
Peter.
Stop that.
Change the weather, damn it.
Quick question. Are you guys going out to Western Mass on November 15th?
Oh, for Mark and Lauren's
event?
The event that they just posted? I just saw the posting earlier today, and I haven't even had a chance to run it by Ben yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying.
There's a possibility. Ben may be back to work by then, so I'm not sure. I may, though.
Yeah, I might get out there if I don't have my daughter that weekend, so I got to work something out, see what I can do.
I know we want to go to Ohio at the end of October for the Epicon.
Oh, nice.
There's going to be a lot of, amazingly cool people there.
Cool.
And it's not just a paranormal thing. It's, everybody.
Awesome, yeah. I'd love to get out to another event soon. And my producer, Tammy Rosenfeld, is going to be setting up some weather events for me to go to as well. And hopefully we'll get a table and set some things up with some storm chasers in it across the country. So that'd be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Not only do you see you get to all aspects. You chase everything. You chase ghosts. You chase storms. You're just a chaser by nature, I guess.
I like that. I like that nickname, Chaser by Nature. Yeah, absolutely. Paranormal just really excites me. And guys, I've asked a lot of my friends that are meteorologists and weather forecasters. A lot of them, you're going to be surprised, but about 60% of them are also into the paranormal. I guess it's the thrill, the excitement, and the adrenaline rush, and that's what we all live for. So.
Well, I think, that, and a lot of people have realized, over the past, X many years, that beyond the thrill of it, so many people are just interested in connecting with people they've lost and, the mediumship part of it.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's definitely an industry that's growing and growing and become much more than it was in years past.
Totally.
Have you had a chance to review all your evidence yet from Lizzie?
I'm still going over some of the evidence, so I'm trying to get my POF glasses going, and I tried to put up a video on Facebook, and it's just like a green broken line. It didn't come out as well, so I'm trying to work out some kinks and figure out how I can send them down to smaller sizes, because I guess Facebook converts stuff and it doesn't come out that great. So I'm working on it. Hopefully I'll get it all set, and we'll get it all ready to go.
Yeah, I haven't even touched mine yet. I've been so busy with other things, but let us know what you get.
I will. You guys have to tune in. Tune in Saturday night for my show at 8 p.m.
As long as you don't say it's going to snow and blow out of the east, then we're all set.
Well, I got Mike Haggett and I got Quincy Vogel, Storm Chaser and Maine Forecaster. It's gonna be a great show, guys. Check it out.
All right, a good one.
All right, Peter, we got to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody tune in to Wicked Weather on DTM Saturday night.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night, buddy.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye.
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 Bye.